What's good, YouTube? My name is Mary Kay and welcome to Mary Kay Confidential. In today's video, we will talk about Frizz. Lock Frizz, yes. So if that's a topic that interests you, please stay tuned. Alright guys, so we're going to jump straight into this video all about frizz and how to manage your locks as they become frizzy. Now, although you're going to experience frizz, there are a few things that you can do that will help to kind of diminish or to kind of hide that process to where it's not as frizzy. The first thing that you can do to diminish the look of frizz in your locks is to keep them moisturized. Keep your locks moisturized. You know, when you had your loose natural hair and it was curly or wavy, anytime you wet the hair, it became more defined. Well, it's kind of that same concept. When I dampen my locks, it kind of relaxes the frizz. You should be keeping your hair moisturized regardless, but the moisture will definitely help to diminish the frizz. Now, if you moisturize your hair with a light spritz of some sort and it's still pretty frizzy, there's a couple things that you can do. While it's still damp, either with no additional product or some kind of maybe a locking gel, you can go in and actually wrap the lock. Now, I actually wrapped a few of them earlier, so let me see if I can find a good one. So here's a good one. You can see that there is loose hair around the lock, right? So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to just dampen it slightly, and that's just a mixture of water, rose water, and a few essential oils. If you watched my 3-month update in part 2, I show you all the products that I use on my hair. So now my hair is slightly dampened, and what I'm going to do, like I said, you can do this with product or not. I'm just literally taking those loose hairs and wrapping it around the lock. This will encourage it to stay in that lock form. So as you can see, that looks much better than before I sprayed it. That's the main way that I like to diminish my frizz, would be to just wrap the lock. So when you're watching TV or you're vegging out, that's just something you can do in your spare time. Another method that people use to diminish frizz would be crochet needles. Some people do use this one for their locks, but I mostly see people using this, like little ones like this. Now, I did try this one day. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick to wrapping it with just wrapping it the way I showed you first, because this one, number one, you can poke your finger, and this might be little, but it packs a punch, you know, so it really does hurt if you stick yourself with this. And I don't know, I kind of felt like I was like ripping my hair, and it just, yeah, I'm all about keeping things simple and keeping it healthy. No disrespect or shade to anyone who uses crochet needles. I just only tried it the one time, so I don't really know how to use it that well yet. But I do plan to practice, like maybe with a mannequin, because I do know that the crochet needle method is very good for if I have any kind of lock repairs that I need to do in the future. So I do want to learn the concept of using the crochet needle. But for now, I'll just stick with the wrapping the locks around my finger. One tip that I have for you with dealing with lock frizz that I can't say no one has spoken on it before, but out of all the research that I did not come across this tip anywhere. And I had to learn the hard way. Make sure that you keep your nails manicured. Now, I don't mean you need to go out and get a full set or you need to get a gel manicure, even if you don't wear any polish at all. If you're prone to getting hangnails, or even just making sure that you keep your nails nice and trimmed all the way across so that there are no snags on your nail, if you comb your fingers through your locks and those nails are not neatly trimmed, or you have hangnails, you are going to feel that. as you are running your fingers through your locks, especially in the starting process. You're going to probably have a lot of loose hairs at the roots. Now, because my hair is starting to mature more, I don't experience very many loose strands at the roots now, because my hair knows it's locking, so it grows into the lock now. It doesn't necessarily become loose. But if you have any snags on your nails, it's going to snag on your locks. Number one, you're going to be mad at yourself for possibly damaging your lock, and number two, it hurts a little bit. Those little strands, you'll be surprised, it packs a punch as well. Better way to say it is, make sure that your nails are neatly groomed, okay? I don't mean you need to go out and get them done. Just make sure that you're taking care of them. In those initial stages, you're gonna play with your hair. Like, people tell you all day long, keep your hands out of your hair, keep your hands out of your hair, but you're gonna play with it. If you're going to play in them, take that same spritz that you use on your hair, dampen your hand just slightly. That way your hands are moisturized and they will glide through your hair much better. You can even use whatever oil that you put in your hair. You can rub that oil all across your hands. Not only will that moisturize your hands, but it will help you as you are running your fingers through your hair so that it glides through your hair much better. And once your locks become a little more mature, you're not going to have as much frizz as during the starting process. Now, I actually started my lock process during quarantine. I'm still working from home, so I have been lucky to go through those initial stages without having to be seen every day. But if you are still going to your job every day, you may be an essential worker, you may have to go out, leave your house every day, and you may not want your hair looking all crazy and wild as it's budding, because everyone's experience is different. So your hair might be budding, but it might be wild and all over the place, and you need to have your hair in a more professional look. In those initial stages, you can do wigs, wraps, you can even wear hats if you can wear those to work, and you can even do protective styles on top of your locks. Now, I've seen people add like faux locks on top of the locks, as well as braid extensions on top of the locks. You can do those, but be careful with those because you may actually slow down the budding process. So just, if you're going to go that route, just be careful with those. All right, guys, so that's it. Those are my tips. Nice and simple ways to help combat that frizz and keep your hair as manicured as possible while it's going through this process. I do hope these tips were useful and that you can apply them to your lock journey. If you have some tips that you've tried other than the ones that I've mentioned to combat frizz, do feel free to comment down below and let's create some dialogue. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.